So the design shouldn't be separate from the financial architecture. So it's obvious that there's a lot of consumer interest in hospitality around these sort of great pieces of nature, but they've kind of defied, particularly in California, ground up construction. So when you go into this, you got to go into this where you realize that demand is evident, but process is probably hard. Otherwise, people would have done this already. So I think when you approach it with that kind of humility, you realize that your first assessments are probably going to be off unless you're that much smarter than everybody else and just figure it out right from the base. And I don't think that that's ever like a healthy way to sort of assume things. So we didn't just do a design and then permit it and build it. We did probably 30 or 40 different designs ranging from 10 units to all the way up to 65, and then even planning some ones that were bigger than that. And we had to constantly redesign it as we discovered new things, right? So once we found, when we initially sort of sat down with the city, which is one of the first things I like to do in a development process, is you go talk to the city manager, the city planner, you understand what they're thinking about before you put pen to paper and start trying to push your grand vision through. And one of the things that we found was that the infrastructural costs, not so much in like water and power, which is what people think about, but in building a sewage treatment plant was going to be this giant cost albatross that it was needed to sort of develop this ground up. So we had a bunch of loose ideas and pro formas. As soon as we found out that we're going to be sinking about $500,000 to $600,000 into a packaged sewage treatment plant because we were developing square footage beyond what septic is allowed for, then we had to completely redesign. We had to add more units, reconfigure. We had to take into consideration how the ground slopes and how our grading costs, which is one of your biggest cost factors, is just grading all that land and getting it to drain properly. So early on, you're constantly getting one additional piece of information from the technical, engineering, or permitting side that totally blows up your pro forma, and then you have to redesign it. So I think the nice part about having the people that are kind of creative and flexible on the financial side, working hand in hand with me and my team on the creative side, is that none of us and we're all in it as owners, is that the design team doesn't realize the design's done until a pro forma works.